I get asked this question a lot. So is the only way to transform schooling to give up on public education? The short answer is no. But the full answer is a bit more complicated. Hi, I'm Thomas Arnett. I'm a senior researcher at the Clayton Christensen Institute, and my work dives deep into big questions about how to transform public education. Because let's face it, most schools today in the United States are designed for batch processing and sorting, not for helping each student navigate their path to success. That's because our schools run on a century-old industrial model. We group kids by age and past achievement, then put them on a conveyor belt of classes intended to equip them with the education they'll need to be successful in life. This model works great for kids who enjoy reading, who can sit quietly and follow instructions, who hardly ever miss a day of class, and who have parents with the experience and means to make sure the system is working for them. But far too many kids fall off track, or they go through the motions without really getting anywhere. Or they get to the end and they find they aren't happy with where the conveyor belt has taken them. Today, if we want all students to contribute to society, pursue careers they are passionate about, and thrive as adults, we need schools that are designed differently. Metaphorically speaking, instead of conveyor belts, we need to teach kids to pedal and steer their own bicycles to navigate to opportunity. In short, we need to transform the model of schooling that is at the heart of public education. Now, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance this isn't the first time you've heard someone make the case for reinventing education. But here's the hard part. How do we actually do it? Over the last few decades, governments and foundations have spent billions of dollars on efforts to redesign schools. Some of it has led to worthwhile improvements, but none of it has transformed industrial-style schooling as we know it. And if we want all students to thrive within public education, change has to happen. So what are we getting wrong? Well, most education leaders assume that transforming public education is about transforming the schools most students currently attend. But here's the problem. Existing schools face constraints that make it impossible for them to radically rethink their basic assumptions. And innovation theory tells us that established organizations never transform a sector because they resist anything that upends how they were designed to operate. This is especially true when their key sources of support and funding expect business as usual while they undergo change. After all, most parents and students like the familiarity of conventional schooling. Most educators would rather improve the system they've mastered than reinvent it. And most policymakers and reformers see their role as improving schools, not rethinking schooling. So while these groups may support innovation in principle, they often resist any changes that challenge long-standing practices and priorities. And it makes sense. But this is why transformation always comes from new entrants that start off on the fringes and then evolve over time to disrupt the status quo. So what does this mean for public education? It means that existing schools cannot transform education on their own. But school districts can, if they utilize a strategy from innovation theory called autonomous units. So what are autonomous units? They're separate branches of a larger organization that operate independently as a new, smaller organization. This is the strategy the Dayton-Hudson department store company used to create Target. It's also how IBM launched its PC business and how HP developed its inkjet printers. For school districts, autonomous units would be new schools and programs that act like new entrants, designing new models of schooling from the ground up. Over time, and with the right encouragement, autonomous units would evolve and improve until they eventually become compelling mainstream alternatives to conventional schooling. When the majority of families and educators currently in conventional schools start migrating to these new options, that's when transformation happens. But for these new schools and programs to succeed, two things are important. First, true administrative autonomy. This means freedom from most district rules and oversight. It also means freedom from state policies designed for conventional schools. Essentially, autonomous units need broad latitude over things like curriculum, pedagogy, staffing, grading, and schedules. Yes, that requires a lot of trust. But you can't rethink conventional schooling if you're still required to operate like a conventional school. Within public education, this kind of autonomy is typically easiest to find in alternative schools, career and technical education programs, virtual schools, or independent study programs. Second, these schools should start off serving frontier learners. Now, these might be disengaged students or dropouts, but they could also be competitive athletes or homeschoolers. What they have in common is their willingness to forego many of the hallmarks of conventional schooling in order to gain more flexibility, more personalization, or more hands-on learning experiences. Schools serving frontier learners might have a smaller social scene, no college prep AP courses, none of the typical electives and extracurriculars, or student transcripts that don't list credits in A through F grades. But for frontier learners, that's okay. They're looking for something different. A focus on frontier learners is what makes these new autonomous units different from magnet schools or most charter schools. They aren't advertised as better versions of schooling. Rather, they offer an alternative for students and families looking for something different. So now let's go back to the question I asked at the start. Does transforming education require giving up on public education? No. But it does mean thinking differently. It means school districts will need to pursue a parallel approach with new autonomous units serving frontier learners. If school districts can do this, they'll be able to break through barriers that have kept conventional schooling static for over a century. And they'll be able to create the future of education that our students and our society really need, where every student can find their path to success. Thanks for watching. If you want more details on this topic, check out the links below. And if you want insights on the future of education, please give this video a like and follow for more.